Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. This is one that I did last year and I was inspired to do this from Sarah Rose's video, so I'll have her video and her channel linked down below. But essentially I'm going to be doing a 2022 project pan planning video, and I'm going to share a bunch of products with you guys today that I'm interested in project panning in 2022. I will have all of my project pan playlists down below, all of the projects that I've been a part of this year, if you are interested in watching some of that content. But all of the products that I talk about today are products that I have on a list that I just want to keep top of mind as I am pulling products for my projects throughout 2022. I did recently update, at least that video should have gone up before this video, my 2021 project pan planning video, and shared with you all of the products from what I wanted to pan, like all of the products that I actually ended up panning from that original video versus like products that I decluttered or didn't end up focusing on at all. So if you're interested in those videos, I'll also have those linked down below. But other than that, if you're interested in seeing the products that I'm interested, if you're interested in seeing the products that I am wanting to project pan and focus on in 2022, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project panning content, or you just like to chit chat about makeup, I would love if you would consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. Okay, my lips are feeling super dry, so I'm gonna add a little bit of gloss from one of the glosses that I am wanting to pan. There we go. Some of these products, very few of them are rollover from the previous like project pan planning from 2021, but anything from my update in 2021 that I did not get around to panning this year is also something, or are also products that will be top of mind as I select products for my 2022 projects. I'm going to try and be as organized as possible and kind of go in order that I would like typically do my face. The only products I didn't include in today's video are actual eyeshadow palettes. We will see what I decide to do for my palette panning journey next year. I think I'll do probably pan in every palette. I know I fell off the wagon towards the end of 2021 with that project, but I am looking to pan eyeshadows again next year, but I didn't necessarily pull palettes that I wanted to focus on. I was going to, but my pile of products is so big that I'm like, we're just gonna focus on the rest of the face. So starting with the primer category, I have two primers that I pulled that I would like to pan in 2022. Usually when I think about products that I want to pan, I like to focus on products that I like but wouldn't necessarily repurchase, because that means I get to work on moving a product out of my collection that I wouldn't replace and can free up some inventory space for other products. So I have one gripping primer and one poreless or like blurring primer. So my blurring primer is the Catrice Prime and Fine Poreless Blur Primer. This is a nice primer and I enjoy it. It's just a little bit heavier than I prefer and a little bit, I wouldn't say it's like drying, but I have other pore filling primers I prefer that feel a little bit more hydrating on my skin. So it's just not my favorite pore filling primer, but I do enjoy using it, and it's something that I would love to move out of my collection so that I can free up space for other primers. And then also the LYS Secure Skin Gripping Serum Primer. This is an okay primer in my opinion, not my favorite. I do think it does a nice job of gripping my makeup, but it's not my favorite gripping primer. So this is just another one that I, again, would like to just work on, finish off, and free up some space in my collection for other primers. Moving on to foundation. I do have quite a few foundations that I would like to finish. I don't feel like I finished as many foundations as I would have liked to this past year, so I want to like refocus and finish some more foundations this year, especially considering I feel like I purchased so many foundations slash tinted moisturizers this last year. My foundation collection feels a little bit out of control. So a couple that I feel like I'm like relatively close on. I have my Tarte Maracuja Tinted Hydrator, which I was working on in my rolling Project 10 pan this year, but didn't quite finish off. I am confident I could finish this off probably pretty quickly here in 2022, so would like to finish this off. I also grabbed my Giorgio Armani Neo Nude. This is one of my more favorite foundations in my collection, but I find it to be very similar to the NYX Born to Glow foundation, and so I feel like I am fine with just going with the NYX Born to Glow in the future rather than purchasing this one, which is about 4 times the price. This is still a really beautiful product. I still would recommend this if you're interested in it, and I will have no problem finishing this off because I do really enjoy using it. But it's another one of those products where I just kind of want to free up space in my collection for other products. The Rare Beauty foundation, I was working on all of 2021, kind of unofficially project panning this, but didn't end up finishing this off, and I feel like I'm really close on this one. So I would like to try and finish this early in 2022. It is a really light shade for me, and I would be interested in picking this up in a shade that would match me a little bit better because I do really enjoy this formula. So I would like to finish this so that I can then go and purchase a different shade. I also want to finish my Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection foundation. This is so expensive and I never should have purchased this, and it's not my absolute favorite. I still think it's beautiful, but it's just not something that I will continue to repurchase. It's not my favorite by any means, so I would just like to finish this before it expires because I did pay so much for it and count that as a makeup empty. Also, I have the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation. I enjoy this foundation. I think it's really nice. After this year, I definitely found a couple foundations that I prefer over this one, whereas in the past, this would have ranked super highly in my collection. I think when I finish this, I don't necessarily feel the need to replace this one, but again, really enjoy this and will enjoy panning it. Another product that used to be an absolute favorite in my collection, but I've just found other tinted moisturizers that I now prefer over this, is the Smashbox Halo Healthy Glow All-in-One Tinted Moisturizer. This is something I might focus on more towards the spring-summertime, just because that's when I prefer a formula like this, but I would still like to work this out of my collection because it will be getting to be closer to 2 years old, and it's not one that I would replace. I also wanted to finish this in 2021 but did not. It's the Erborian CC Cream. This is something I absolutely will purchase in a full size when I finish this as we get closer to the spring summer months, because this is so beautiful for just evening your skin out. If you don't want to wear makeup but you want to even your skin out, I love reaching for this. But it's a small product and I feel like I could quickly finish this and count it as an empty and then purchase a full size, so I had a full size. And then the last foundation that I have is the Uoma Beauty Say What Weightless Soft Matte Foundation. This is a really nice foundation, but it is too light for me. And I also prefer the Uoma by Sharon C foundation. So when I finish this, I won't feel the need to repurchase this. But again, I feel like I'll have no problem using this up, except for the fact that it is really light on me and I will have to mix this with a darker foundation. Moving on to powder, I do have 2 powders that I want to finish up. First up, I have the Hourglass Luminous Light Powder. I have a big pan in this, but I just cannot get myself to finish this. I've been unofficially trying to finish this all year and it just has not happened for me, and I'm not sure I could motivate myself to finish this unless it's in a project pan. But I am really hopeful that I can finally count this as an empty sometime in 2022. And then I also grabbed for my number 7 Triple Action powder. I actually really enjoy this powder. This is a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury like airbrush powder, and honestly I'll continue to repurchase this over the Charlotte Tilbury, but I would just like to hit pan on this at least and maybe try and use this up. This is the lightest of all of the shades. I believe I have the shade light. I want to say there's at least 4 shades, and I would love to pick this up in 1 shade darker, but I just thought this would be an easy one to work on just because I do really enjoy the formula, but kind of want to purchase a shade darker, but not until I finish that up. All right, for concealer, I do have my RMS concealer, which I did include in last year's video. I do have a pan on this, but have pretty much halted use on this. I used to use this as an eyeshadow primer or like an eyeshadow base, but then I switched over to actually using an eyeshadow primer and rarely reach for this. But because I've already used up so much of this product, I would just like to finish this up. And I did not make good progress on this last year. So hopefully 2022 can be different. And then I also want to work on my Hourglass Vanish Concealer. I put this into my rolling Project 10 pan at the end of 2021, so I could kind of get a head start on this. I feel like I was already about halfway through this concealer, and this is one that I will not repurchase when I complete this one. It's a little bit too light for me, and it's hard to mix this one because it is so full coverage. If I mix it with another concealer, sometimes it just gets way too heavy. So I would just like to finish this off because I've already used half of it. I, again, would really like to actually see that product through and actually empty that out. For bronzer, I feel like I grabbed quite a few bronzers. I would like to try and hit pan again on like 3 to 4 bronzers this year, which was my goal last year. But I would also like to try and finish up at least 1 powder bronzer. And I'm also including my Milk Makeup Baked Bronzing Stick. I don't know if I could do it, you guys, but what a feat would it be to finish up a full size of this. I have used so much of this. I'm about halfway done with this. I probably couldn't finish this up, but I did want to include this in this video because I would like to continue to work on this throughout projects next year. So I'm kind of including this as a reminder. For the two bronzers that I would like to potentially finish up. First, I have this one from Ilia. This is the Drawn In Night Light Bronzing Powder. And I hit pan on this one last year, and I have a pretty good size pan on this. It is more of a shallow pan, and I honestly feel like with a little bit of effort, I could finish this up. Obviously, it will take time to do that, but this is the bronzer in my collection with the largest pan. So I would like to see if I could try and finish this up by the end of 2022. And then I also included my Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting Powder. I have worked on this throughout various projects. I will likely end up including this in my Graveyard Project pan again in 2022. And I would like to finish this up. I have a good size pan going, but it feels like this sculpting powder is truly never ending for me. So wanted to include that. And then another cream bronzer I included is my Tower 28 Bronzino in the shade West Coast. I just feel like if I don't include this in a project, I won't reach for it enough. And I feel like if I don't use this up in the near future, it's gonna go bad just because it is a cream product. And I have heard these Tower 28 cream products do go bad relatively quickly. So I wanna focus on that at some point this year. And then a bronzer that I would like to hit pan on this year is this one from Nabla. And I love this one. I wanted to choose a bronzer that I really enjoy reaching for and really enjoy using. Just because sometimes with bronzer, you feel like towards like the end of your panning journey, I feel like you just feel so committed to that bronzer that it can be a little... it can get a little bit boring. So I wanted to choose one that I really like. And I chose this one from Nabla because it isn't a totally matte bronzer, but it's not super like shimmery. It just has this really beautiful satin finish that kind of looks like a healthy skin glow. So I thought this would be a really good one to include. I've pretty much worn away the Nabla like imprint on this, but there's still plenty of product for me to use in that. So we'll see how that journey goes. For blush, I didn't include any powder blushes just because I don't feel like I could. Maybe I'll hit pan on my Buxom Seychelles. That would be the one blush that I would like want to focus on, but I did pick two cream blushes to focus on. So I have this one from Milk Makeup. This is, oh shoot, I thought I had used more of this. Maybe my packaging's broken. I'm not really sure. This one is in the shade Work. Could I finish this up? Maybe I'll say that's my goal, but chances are slim. And then I also grabbed this Fenty Beauty Cream Cheek Blush in the shade Petal Poppin. This is probably the blush that I've used the most, although I will say my favorite shade that I own this year that I used was Strawberry Drip. But I would just like to see if I could hit pan on this. That would be really fun to hit pan in a cream blush. So that is gonna be my goal with that. And then moving on to highlighter. Oops, I forgot I have one more bronzer that I missed that I would like to hit pan on. This I also rolled into my rolling project 10 pan at the end of the year. It's my Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar Bronze and Glow. I just have the mini and I would love to hit pan on this bronzer. I feel like I could do this pretty quickly in 2022, so maybe this will be my first bronzer pan, and potentially maybe I could even finish up this side of the bronzer. We'll see. It's a really beautiful, neutral, easy to wear bronzer for my skin tone, so that's my goal there. I have 4 highlighters and my goal is really just going to be to hit pan. No, there's 2 that I want to finish up. So I would love to finish up my Bobbi Brown Pink Glow highlighter. I absolutely adore this highlighter. It is one of my favorites, and when I finish up this little mini, I 100% would purchase this in a full size. So my goal would be to finish this up this year. I would love to finish up a highlighter. I never have done that. I didn't include my Becca Rose Quartz, but that will also be a goal of mine. And then the other one that I want to finish up is my RMS face palette. I have already pretty much finished, well, I've already pretty much finished up this highlight. I would love to finish up these 2 highlights as well as this bronzer. What a feat would that be to actually finish up like a full like quad face palette. That's gonna be my goal with that. And then I did choose 2 highlighters I would love to try and hit pan on. The first being this one from Vesca in the shade Moonlight. This is a really beautiful highlight, very subtle, very my vibe these days. And I really enjoy reaching for this. I also enjoy reaching or mixing this highlighter with other highlighters. And it's just a good time. So I thought this would be a good one to try and hit pan on. And I also chose this one from Dior. This is kind of like a wild card. This is in the shade 01, I believe. It's their Nude Luminizer. It's a really beautiful champagne. And I was going between this one and my pink shade, which I believe is in the shade 2, because I've owned the pink one longer, but the pink one I easily reach for. Like, it's not like I need motivation to reach for it, whereas this one sometimes I do. So it'd be better for me to throw this one into a project, if that makes sense. And my goal would just be to hit pan on this. Next up, I have a couple of eye products. So I have these two. I've hit pan on most of my Colourpop Super Shock shadows, and I didn't necessarily want to commit to finishing up a full-size Colourpop Super Shock. I still might choose to do that, but I'm not putting that as a goal in this video. But I did grab these two NYX cream shadows. I have the shade Beauty Buzz as well as Baroque. And these are cream shadows that I just fear already might be going bad, possibly. I think these are actually already going bad. Like, possibly. I can't decide. Like, I feel like these are, but... like, is that, yeah. Is that actual mold? Okay, I think I need to throw these two out. I can't tell, but I feel like there's potential actual mold growing on these, so I don't want to risk that and put these on my eyes. So we're actually, scratch that. These are going in the trash. That is a bummer, because those are nice, but those did not last long. They do say they have a 6-month shelf life, so dang, that's a bummer. Okay, the other eye product then that I have 3 still. So I have a liquid shadow. This is from Essence. This is their Metal Shock Eye Shadow. And I have mine in the shade, I'm not sure. It's this really beautiful purple shade. I already feel like I've used about half of this product. And this is really nice to lay down if I'm doing a mauve tone look. In fact, I probably could have laid this down on my eyes today. And I feel like I could throw this into a Partners in Cream and work on this for a few months and hopefully finish this off. So that's gonna be my goal with that. I also don't feel the need to have any more than 1 glitter glue products in my collection at a time, and I currently have 2. So I would love to finish this Too Faced glitter glue. This is the oldest in my collection. And I'm already like a good chunk of the way through this, over half of the way. I maybe have a 1/4 of this left. So it does go really slowly, but my goal is going to be to finish that off. And then I also would like to eventually finish off my NYX brow glue. I'm curious to see how long this would take to finish up. It's such a small product, but I feel like because I only have 2 eyebrows, oh geez, I almost just shot glue into my actual face. I'm curious to see how quickly this product will take to use up. It's not my favorite brow glue, not something I would repurchase, so I would like to work that out of my collection. And then I have a bunch of lip products to wrap it up with. So I have 1 liquid lipstick that I wanted to include. This is a liquid lipstick I've tried to finish in other projects. It feels light and it is like the perfect My Lips but better sort of shade. So I feel like with a little bit of effort, I could finish this up. It's for the Dose of Colors liquid lipstick in the shade A Mauve Story, which I believe was in collaboration with Desi and Katie. It's a really beautiful mid-tone pink shade, and I really would love to finish that this year. I also grabbed these 3 Buxom lip glosses. These are getting really old. They are their full-on lip shines, and they were from a holiday set years ago. This past year, I was super focused on my Fenty lip glossies in my Partners in Cream project pan, and I think this year, instead of rotating through more of my Fenty lip gloss collection, I want to rotate through my Buxom lip glosses and try and finish these off. So I just grabbed these 3 shades, Celeste, Emma, and Amy. I may have 1 or 2 other shades in my collection, but we'll see how many of those I could get through. I also want to finish up my Tower 28 lip jelly in the shade Spicy. I love the Tower 28 lip jelly formula, but I prefer their milky line just for like shades, or I just love the shade Chill, which is a clear gloss. I love this red shade, but I prefer Kosas Jaws if I want like a red wet lip oil sort of effect, which is like, these 2 are very similar, but I just prefer Kosas Jaws for this sort of shade. So I'd love to finish this up and work this out of my collection. I also grabbed the Jaclyn lip oil in the shade Ruby Drip. This is just one of the lip oils that came out in her summer collection, and I would just like to work out as many lip oils as I possibly can. This past year I worked through a lot of my lip products, and I want to continue that into 2022 with all of my like comfortable lip products, and this is one of them. I don't believe you can get these anymore. Sometimes I feel like she randomly like drops these again, but they were like limited edition to her summer line, and it's a nice formula, but it's not my favorite lip oil formula, so not something, if she were to come out with more shades, I don't think I would repurchase, and I would just like to finish that off. And then finally, I grabbed one of my Maybelline Lifter glosses. I really love the Maybelline Lifter gloss formula, so I grabbed the shade that was my least favorite in my collection, and it's the shade 15 Sand. Just because I feel like I'll need the most motivation to use this shade. It's not like a bad shade by any means. It just has some glitter in it, which you can't really see swatched. And I did finish up at least one other lifter gloss in 2021, so I know it's doable. And after that, those are all of the products that I grabbed that I for sure want to focus on. I will update you guys midway through 2022 and let you know where we are at with this list and potentially add some more products into the mix. But I would love to know in the comments down below, what products are you like laser focused on trying to pan in 2022? Thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.